Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we have a really exciting video. We're going to be comparing the M2 and the RS3 in the way that they drive. I got my buddy Jason here with me to share his thoughts as well. So let's go start off with the RS3 first. Alright guys, we are driving the RS3 now. And we're going to be comparing it to the M2. So right off the bat, obviously it sounds different, right? So the RS3 has the 2.5 liter inline 5, so it has a much more unique sound than the M2. Very smooth so far. See how it handles this bump. We're in the comfort mode. Soaks it up pretty good. Second gear can be a little clunky in the DSG. And then one thing I'm also noticing too is my head is up in the ceiling as usual. So the shift sounds are really cool in the RS3. Definitely sounds really good. Low end torque is not really there. Kind of have to get into the gas. Handled that bump pretty good. What do you think? Really soaked it up because we're in the comfort mode. So let me go ahead and put us in dynamic here. So we got a little drive select, dynamic. So now the suspension will be a little stiffer. Car will be a little bit more responsive. Definitely still has that turbo lag for sure. Definitely still feel it. Do you know what I'm talking about with the turbo lag? Did you notice that when driving it too?
Not really. Not really?
Suspension's definitely stiffer in the dynamic mode. You can definitely feel that.
It's got rolling anti-lag.
No, it doesn't. We'll just take off from, let's say, 20 miles an hour. Okay, started in second. Something goes okay. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
Not anything crazy though.
No, but you can definitely feel it's got pretty good power.
And this is with both of us in the car, obviously. It's 111 degrees outside right now. We have the AC on full blast. So we're in the worst conditions possible, obviously. Not to make excuses for it, but we are in the worst conditions possible. But yeah, you can definitely feel that turbo lag though. You really have to get into it past like 3,500 RPM for it to really start going. Which is a little frustrating as a daily driver, obviously. If you guys don't know, I do daily drive this car. And with a daily driver, you do kind of want more low-end torque. But once it gets going, it pulls pretty good. See how it handles this corner here. We'll take it with a little bit of speed here. Handles it okay. I mean, it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it kind of pushed a little bit. What do you think about like the steering and stuff when you drove it?
The steering feels good. It's not like too stiff where it's uncomfortable. It feels good for a daily.
Yeah, like right now it's in dynamic, which is probably like the stiffer steering, and it still feels like really soft. Let me try RS performance mode. Let's see if that changes it. It feels like it might be a little stiffer. For some reason, I don't know if you felt this, but for some reason this car feels a little squirrely. Does it feel a little squirrely to you? Like it kind of like, moves around a little bit and kind of shifts a lot?
Slightly, yeah. It definitely doesn't feel too planted.
Yeah, which you would expect an all-wheel drive car to feel planted, but this one just feels a little squirrely. Did it first gear downshift and it was a little clunky. It sounds good though. Like I have the Unitronic Midpipes installed and it definitely sounds good. It's not super loud, but it does have a good sound. right, guys, we are in the M2. Just did those 2 rev clips. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about the way the exhaust sounds. Me and Jason both agree that the RS3 sounds a little bit better, but the M2 is louder. And that has mid pipes. This is stock exhaust. So if you want a louder stock exhaust, the M2 is definitely the way to go for sure. Transmission shifting through the gears, just that first 1-2 shift is already smoother than the RS3. Would you agree? Like, the transmission is really smooth in this one. The hood is a lot longer. I feel like I'm sitting much lower to the ground. I feel like I'm sitting in the car as opposed to the RS3 where it feels more like I'm sitting on top of it. Steering wheel feels better in the M2. It's thicker, more smooth. See how it handles the bumps.
Definitely stiffer.
Definitely stiffer than the RS3. And this is in just normal mode. I don't even have the suspension turned up. But it's still pretty composed, like it feels good.
Yeah.
But it's definitely stiffer than the RS3 for sure. The heads-up display is a lot bigger and more visible in this car. Immediately way smoother. Power delivery way easier to get up to speed quickly. Brakes feel much more grabby in this car. Definitely stops better. The RS3 does have some pretty grabby brakes as well, but once you really get into them, like if you have to do like an emergency stop or something, they don't feel like as strong as the initial bite feels. These ones feel strong the whole way out. And right now we're just in normal mode. We're just cruising around. The transmission's shifting early. It's shifting really smooth. Suspension's more bumpy.
For sure.
Right? Like you can tell that. It's definitely more bumpy. This one's definitely a little bit more on edge. Steering is a lot more direct in this car. Like the RS3 felt a little squirrely and kind of, I don't know. I know some people are going to mention in the comments, well, the 25 RS3 beat the M2 at Nürburgring. Well, I don't know what the 25 RS3 has, for one. And for two, just driving both cars, this one just feels better to drive. Yeah, definitely a lot more sharp. Let's go ahead and put it in the M2 mode, which is what I programmed for like the sporty setting. Definitely a lot stiffer suspension in this mode. Way more low in torque than the RS3. I mean, you can agree on that, right?
100%.
Way more torque. The RS3, you really have to get into it and have it start revving out for it to get going. And even then, it's not like that fast. All right, turning on this back street. Do the same thing like we did in the RS3. We'll just start at 20. Pulls a lot harder than the RS3. Way harder than the RS3. And that's not even what this car normally feels like, because obviously both passengers, the M2's reading 114 degrees. Way faster than the RS3.
Crazy in the winter.
Yeah, you can definitely notice that for sure. And obviously, since the M2's rear-wheel drive, you're gonna have some rear-wheel drive fun with it. And it gets really good grip. Like, this is rear-wheel drive, and I have the traction pretty much off, and it gets really good traction. Now, granted, these are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's, and it is 114 degrees outside.
Yeah.
But these tires get really good traction. Or I should just say this car and the balance and everything gets good traction. All right, let's test out this corner. Same corner in the RS3. Way better.
A lot better.
Way better. Like, I don't know how the 25 RS3, well, they did put different tires on it, I guess. This handles so much better than the RS3. You want to feel the brakes?
Please. Oh, wow.
The brakes are crazy on this car too. And see how it's like, it's way more on edge than the RS3, but yet it's so much more smooth for some reason. Like as far as like the way the transmission shifts and stuff.
Yeah, the transmissions are definitely more comfortable.
Now, would you rather take the RS3's like 7-speed dual clutch where it's kind of like, you know, it kind of bangs off the shifts pretty good and stuff, but it's a lot more clunky? Or would you rather take this one where it still shifts fast and it's more smooth?
I'd rather take this. I mean, you know how I feel about those Mustang transmissions?
Oh yeah, the 10-speed is dog.
That reminded me of those Mustang transmissions.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially downshift, it's like...
Yeah, it's all like kind of pulling as it's downshifting.
Yeah.
Like this one, I can downshift into first gear. So here's second gear, first gear.
Yeah.
Don't even feel anything.
There's a lot of engine braking going on.
Don't even feel anything. I don't think it's engine braking as it is the transmission slowing the car down. Because that car actually doesn't really have good engine braking. A lot of turbo cars don't.
That's true.
But yeah, and then this car has the exhaust burbles and stuff, so it has a little bit more of a, I don't know, a little bit more drama with the exhaust. Even though it doesn't sound technically as good as the RS3, it has a little bit more drama with the exhaust.
Yeah.
As you guys can tell probably by my impressions, I like the way the M2 drives a lot better. The M2 drives definitely a lot better. It's way faster. The RS3 does have a more comfortable suspension. Like when you're cruising, like maybe on a road trip, the RS3 would be better. But as far as just being a sports car, the M2 is just so much better in my opinion. What are your honest thoughts? And I don't care if you say the RS3 is better, if you disagree with me or whatever.
I think it just depends on how you're using it. If you want a fun car, you want to go to the track or the canyons, this is the car you want. If I own this car, I wouldn't see myself driving it a lot, but I would have a lot of fun driving it. If I had that car, that'd be a good car to drive all the time, whenever. You know? Okay.
Yeah, because it does have the 4 doors. It does have a little bit more comfortable suspension and stuff. It does get slightly better gas mileage. Even though in the real world, I mean, I've been getting similar gas mileage in this than I have been in that one. But maybe it's just because I've been doing racing and stuff. But, yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
All-wheel drive, you want to go up to the mountains.
That's true. It does have the all-wheel drive.
It's nice. But, I mean, they're very similar in some aspects, but for the most part, they're pretty different.
Yeah. Now, for what I use my car for, this is much better, obviously. Like, I like racing. I like the way it handles and feels. I like the coupe. I like everything about this one.
Just looking at it, if you said I can only have one car for the rest of my life and these were the 2 options, I would pick that one.
Yeah, because it has more, like, yeah. It can do more than one thing, or I guess it's a jack of all trades, sort of, as far as, like, you know, having the 4 doors, the all-wheel drive and stuff. But if you want a sports car, like, I mean, I don't know, like, I like this car so much more than that car that even if I had one car, I'd still pick this one.
Okay.
But I do see the value in having that car as like a daily driver if you only have one car. But if you have more than one, even if you have a piece of crap daily driver, I feel like the M2 is definitely the way to spend $66,000.
For sure.
Yeah, like this car is worth the money. That car I feel like is a little overpriced.
Yeah.
So this car is worth the money all day, in my personal opinion. Even though mine was 70 because it has a carbon roof and some other stuff, it's realistically $66,000. That car was $66,000, and I feel like that car should be $10,000 less. Like if that was like 56 to 58, then it might make sense.
Yeah.
But at 66, I feel like it's just too expensive.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Definitely overpriced.
Yeah, for what you get on that car. If you guys enjoy this video, give it a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.